missing in a line. Love is like a bumblebee wrapping in time to the of an amorous beat that you don't understand, but you long to keep. Love is psychedelic with a science of its own. Love is like the ticking of a match. My name's Nigel. I am the singer and songwriter of the Plymouth UK-based indie funk band The Curve. And this is my podcast, Songs Nobody Asked Me For. Now, I've done the full introduction just for a change, so I haven't done that for a little while. Now, I'm in my car, which is kind of, I would say strange, but any of you that watched the Christmas special, and you'd have all wanted to watch that, it would have been part of your traditional Christmas. I'm hoping it will become part of your traditional Christmas to watch my Christmas specials. But any of you that saw that would know that I was in my car, and I was, sitting in the car in the countryside here, which I am again. I've got some coffee. And I also have a banana, and I don't know how easy it is to do a podcast and eat a banana, but I'm going to try because I'm hungry. I don't know. Do you want to hear me chomping away? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. Anyway, welcome. I'm guessing, I think it's probably going to be about March time by the time you get to watch this, really. Here it's... Wow, it's the 22nd of December. So 3 days to Christmas. I'm not really... yesterday, for the first time, I was feeling pretty damn Christmassy. Went to this amazing Christmas carol concert at a church right the way down in Redruth. I'm going to call its name out. It's called the Engine House in Redruth. And for production of their worship, the sound was stunning, and their arrangements of their songs, I've really got to shout out to them, really, because I enjoyed it. It's a long way down for us. We'd gone to see a friend, and she was singing in the choir, and just put a bit of a clip of that in this podcast. That might be nice to do, actually. I'm going to put that on now. Day and night, night and day, incense no light. Day and night, night and day, incense arise. Day and night, night and day, incense arise. Day and night, night and day, incense arise. Sing it out, day and night. Day and night, night and day, incense arise. It was really inspiring, and I can be inspired. I've done one of these sessions on my faith. So worship to me is just fantastic. And, I like all worship, but actually when you hear a really full-on band where the sound is amazing and the arrangements were so good, and it's mainly carols, but I know this is the thing in church. Carols were written really, I think, to be played on an organ, your church organ and all of that. And I've had a couple of times over the years when I've been asked to do the carols at a carol service on the guitar. And we did it as a worship band in Plymouth Vineyard Church, where it's hard work, because they're not really designed to play on the guitar. But they just effortlessly did them as a band. I mean, they had a keyboard, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass, drums, and then they had 3 vocalists, 2 women and a guy. They're all quite young. And sound was, it was just amazing. It was, beautiful. I was very impressed, and it really moved me, which was good. It was good, So how are we doing? Are we doing okay? For me, it's really hard to tell. I'm looking at my figures. I don't look at them so much now, but I went right through them all yesterday to sort of kind of work myself out. And what I'm noticing, which is pretty obvious, I suppose, is that I get less people initially looking, and then as things have been there a little while, I guess people maybe discover it, or I'm talking to somebody about it and they pick an episode to watch, and numbers creep up, So if I combine, I'm going to be honest here, if I combine YouTube and Spotify, probably at the moment, the least I have, which are new ones, tend to get about 10 listens, 10 views in the first week. Best one I have maybe has about 50 altogether, which I'm kind of pretty chuffed about, really. If I can get to a place where they're all creeping up to 50, and that's in between the two. More on Spotify, I think, in general than YouTube, although there's been a couple of standouts. One particular one is my interview with Brad, and yeah, that's really big on YouTube, and actually quite small on Spotify. I can't really work that out. Maybe I don't know. Maybe some of Brad's friends and people who know him looked at it on YouTube. I don't know. It's a strange thing, but it's very different. Coffee. I'm at a funny place at the moment, and because I just over last week I did the wonderful Christmas special. That's probably going to be the most popular one now. Only shortly followed by my New Year special. I did these things. I wrote some songs for them, fantastic songs, obviously. And if you're watching this for the first time, you should go and have a look. I mean, they're Lennon and McCartney. They really are. They're just amazing songs. But it means I'm a little bit out of thread of where I am and what I've told you, really. So I think I probably told you that we have a new drummer, Tim, and that's going really well. But I wanted to think about sort of throughput. Throughput, that's the word I'm going to use today. Throughput. I'm glad I found that word. Now, throughput is this balance. If you're a songwriter, there's a thing that I can do that for me, I can become stuck or I can become a conveyor belt, Now, a lot of that is based on, for me, what I can bring the music to. So what I mean by that is when we're all firing on all cylinders and we sound amazing and sound, really on top of everything, then I could bring 5 songs to the band over a period of time and we could work on them. And, it's never good to do 5 songs. I think, and I've learned this week actually, that possibly 2 songs is the best amount of songs to work on at any given time. Banana. Letting you know in case you're listening to it. I'm also going to, if I can find what on earth I did with my flask, which I can't really. Oh well. There it is. I need to top up with the coffee. It's cold in here. Yeah, I think 2. So I don't know how other songwriters do this. Or maybe it's different if you're a songwriter for a band, because if you're a songwriter for yourself, someone like Craig, lovely Craig Osmond, check him out. Check out the episode. Check out Craig Osmond online. Anywhere you can find him, he's fantastic. But he writes for himself mostly, so he plays by himself a lot. And I guess Rob C as well, who is also fantastic, and you need to check him out. He's writing for himself. Cat Rose writing for herself. So these are all fantastic singer-songwriters. I mean, Rob has various iterations of himself, band as well. But if you're writing for yourself, you can write as much as you like. When I was singer-songwriting, it didn't really matter. I could have done 3 songs one week, and as long as I could learn them and play them, I could just play them. Brilliant. If you're in a band and you're the songwriter for a band, and I love being the songwriter for a band, it's one of my favourite things in life. It really is. It's I love it, and I love it with this band particularly. But there's only so much new stuff a band can digest, take on. You can do it more when you're in a good space, but because we've just taken on Tim. He's been amazing. I mean, within what was it? He was with us maybe 3 practices, and then he had to do a gig with us, which was an hour and a half of stuff, which he did really well. There were gaffes and mistakes between us and stuff, but I think given that, it was incredible. And then he came in the studio, and that really helped because the 5 songs actually we did in the studio, he's really up on, which means we're really up on them as a band. We're up on them now, and that really helps, I think. And makes a big difference. 5 songs, that's great. So that's 5 songs in the bag, because they're songs he evolved, worked out the drum patterns to, and did. And there's probably, I reckon we've probably got about 10 of our songs at the moment that he's on it. And then I've noticed that, I don't know whether this is him or whether it's me, he's fantastic, much better at working out the sort of the more complex, funky songs of ours than maybe what I would call the more traditional and indie songs. So, for example, I think things like "Why Did You," which is one of my favourite songs, but at the moment we're not really playing it very well. He's finding that a little complex, even though I think it's more straightforward. But I said the one, Only You, and I Know. There are 3. You could check them out on Spotify yourselves. I Know, Why Did You, and Only You. And those 3 songs are more traditional indie songs. I think he struggles to play them. Whereas the songs that I thought, oh, you know, a drummer's going to really struggle with these, he's there, and he's bringing us the most complex drum patterns and really interesting things. I'm loving it. I'm really loving having him along. But my plan had been, and I might have said this before, but I try and do this every year, is I take a pause around this time because it's quieter. Some people carry on playing, you know, partly because it's quieter and partly I kind of think, you know, not so many people are coming out. And people are, they're all full of germs, and I'm not really sure I want to catch COVID or anything like that because I've had that before and it's not very pleasant. So I think, well, December, January, and we gig less, but what we do is we practice and we work on new material. We did it last year. And the song Thinking came from that, which is incredibly good song, I think, for us as a band, and Everything Is Fine. They're both going to be on the new EP that comes out some point soon, and maybe out now, actually, I guess. I'll have to put a sort of live special episode on before that comes out. So they may be out now, because March is kind of roughly when I'm thinking of doing it, and I think this is moving me into end of March, beginning of April. I've not checked. But those two songs we did this time last year. However, I brought 3 new songs to the band, and they all worked on them because we had 2 weeks. We didn't. And 2 of them, I think, went off to a good start. One of them, I'm not so sure. But I think one of the things I felt after it was I realised that maybe I was pushing everybody too quickly, because when we warmed up with a few of our songs that we know, but there were mistakes in them, and I don't, you know, it's Tim's still learning them. I think that would be the thing to say, and I think that's perfectly reasonable. But you know, Tim and I have talked a lot about the nice thing for him of being able to have a brand new song of ours, because then he's not trying to work out something that somebody's already done. And even with the songs we recorded, Gray had been playing them, so you know, he kind of started there. Whereas with new ones, I like to just, sometimes I've got an idea of a rhythm and I might send a track by somebody else saying, was this kind of an idea I had? But because that's often quite a funky dance thing, and then at the moment, and then I always write things in a slightly indie way. That's where our indie funk kind of thing merges together. So we did a good job, but afterwards I thought we're probably rushing a bit. I didn't think the third song worked very well, which is a shame, because I had actually mashed it up with a cover, and it's the first time I tried to bring a cover to the band properly. Anyway, I think 2 worked. One going to work, one didn't. And then I realised that probably what we need to do over the next few weeks is just to be going over our set, making sure it's as tight as possible, so that when we start playing gigs again in February, starting with a full gig, then we're ready for it, really. But Throughput is difficult because I've got 5 songs at the moment. 5 new songs waiting to go, and I've got a really good idea for a proper, you know, cover, and I've worked it out, and I think it's pretty straightforward, but I think it's going to be grand for us if everybody takes it on board. So it's a difficulty as a songwriter, because I can't turn it on and off. Well, I can turn it on and off. I can just go, I'm not going to go near my guitar, really. But when I start writing new stuff, I want to do it straight away, you know. And I get into a new thing, oh, this is great. And I'm looking around, and I can feel myself looking around for a new vibe and a new hook and a new idea, and dreading that I might get some words together or something, because we've got enough at the moment, you know. So I said to the guys, look, we'll take a little pause. We'll keep working on the 2, but not the third one. I won't bring any of the others, because I did say to them I've got 4 or 5 songs to bring until we're up on the set. And my worry is once we're up on the set, we'll be gigging again, and it will be hard. But maybe if we're good at the set, using half an hour, that's what I think I'm going to try and do. We'll practice for 2 hours every Wednesday. Maybe half an hour, 40 minutes of that, even 45 minutes of that, we work on a new song. The rest of the time we're doing the set, we're going over and over. And you know, I remember before Brad was around, Graham and John and I doing this for months and months and months. And it was really good because we got really tight. And I think that's the thing I'm missing at the moment. We're so tight. We're not quite that tight yet, but very understandably, because our whole rhythm section is relearning stuff. Graham's really relearning, really getting on with the percussion and trying to work that out. Tim's learning the songs. And that's such an important part of the band that you really need to make sure that's working, don't you? So I have to be patient, but I don't know. Creating things, you just can't stop and start it, you know. It's happened more always when I've had a platform. So it helps me slow down a bit the fact that we can't do the new songs at the moment. But I also find it really frustrating. I really want to be able to do these things, and I'm frustrated that I can't, because I love working with the guys on new material. I can't think of anything I like doing more. Well, I like it all. I like the gigging. I like playing the songs that we play really well and being able to do them and practicing and getting together, going to the recording studio, all these things. It's cyclical, you know. And I guess at the moment I'm ready to bring new stuff to the band, and I can't. Just pouring some more coffee. I can't because we're not at that place, and I need to just accept that, really. And it's difficult for me then, because I think if we're off December and January pretty much, I might, if a gig comes up towards the end of January, I'm going to take it, really. But I can't quite work out what to do with myself, really, in the nicest of ways. I just need to keep practicing our stuff, but I know our stuff so well, but I do need to keep practicing it. But also, I then go on social media and I'm watching some of the bands I know doing this and having this stuff come out, playing a gig and being available and stuff. And I get a little frustrated because I'm kind of thinking, I did this to be in a place where we could do this. And actually we can't at the moment. And I don't know. I guess it's just one of those frustrations of people being creative, I wonder if it's the same if you're a painter or something and you kind of run out of space for everything, It's kind of, I don't know where that goes in my head. Maybe you're painting. I suppose it's different because maybe if people are buying your works, it's okay. But if you had a studio and you had, I see people's studios and they've got so many pictures all over the place and you cover them up and et cetera, I suppose. I've never been really good at just having songs that I just keep to myself. I do have some ideas, but once the song's finished, I just want to bring it to the band straight away. And I'm tempted even now. And Tim's would be really up for the new stuff as well. I mean, he's been working really hard on it. And a couple of really great new beats and stuff. But I'm thinking, wow, I could send him the cover I'm thinking of doing. I'm really itching to not do it because I've literally put out to everybody, I think we need to slow down a bit. I'm just going to give you these two. We'll focus on the set. We'll keep working on these two for a little bit of each practice. And I feel I just want to send him more because I think he'd be up for that. But he really needs to focus on getting all of our set up. Because come the new year, we've got, we're going to be playing for 90 minutes at the B Bar. We've got a couple of gigs coming up where we're going to need to play for an hour, and actually some of them we're going to have to play for 2 hours, which we aren't ready for. But of course, if we worked out the two new songs, they would become part of our set, so it's all good. But it's an interesting creative conundrum. Right, I'm going to leave it there, I think, for now, with my conundrum. I'm going to think about it because I really would like to sort of work out how I move forward with all of that conundrum, really. And because I kind of feel itching to write another new song, and I'm kind of thinking it's not easy, don't get me wrong. And, I've really been stuck with what Pav said when I met him the second time about that songwriting is hard, and it should be hard. It's a craft. It's part of the job, and you have to really work hard at it. I don't think people always realise that, or people go, you just knock these out. Well, you don't. But there is a place and a space you sit in, which might be another podcast, really, and how I get myself set up and think about what I do in order to write, really. And maybe sort of think about what other people might do. I don't know. Anyway. Look, if you like this, do tell me you like it. It would be really nice. I say that often, and maybe I don't get much response so far. I don't know. Maybe I do now. I don't know. I get a few likes on YouTube, which is always nice. But, if you're watching it, just a little like would be lovely. Or subscribe. Subscriptions are really great, because that really helps me with the algorithms, subscriptions on wherever you're looking, or following wherever you're looking at this, really. Hopefully having a good 2026. It's a bit weird for me because I'm kind of not quite in there yet, but this suddenly presented itself in my head and I thought I would talk about it. Hence the reason I'm in my car rather than in the podcast studio, as I like to call it. But there you go, my back room. Okay, take care. I'm going to say Happy Christmas, although it's kind of a weird thing to say to anybody watching it because you'll be watching this in March or April. So I should be saying Happy Easter's coming up soon, I suppose. But there you go. Check out the band. Hashtag Music the Curve. And I'll see you again soon. Cheers.